Are you staring into my soul? Hey everybody, Lady here, and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker HD. In the previous video, we started exploring the Tower of the Gods, and today we're going to be continuing on. So, without further ado, let's go into the duel of Signiness. Signy is your friend. Also, in the previous video, we began reading the Legend of the Fairy that would appear from the Tingle Tuner in the GameCube version of this game. The second part, that I'm going to start reading is in this very room. So let's take out this guy, smack his face, and come on, buddy, get over here. Get over here, Bull. Let me take you out. Yeah, we defeated arm. So I believe that the next part of the Legend of the Fairy is located on top of this grappling hook. So you can like climb up to the top of it, climb for glory, and like can we get on top of this thing, please? Yep, we can. Yay! It's like somewhere right here would have been the next page for the Legend of the Fairy. And when we go into the next area, I'm going to read the next part of that story. As soon as I actually pull up my notes for it. And, well, actually, we should probably go through this area first. Isn't there supposed to be like a... oh, there it is. I couldn't remember how to get across this room real quick. Anyway, the next part. Now that that grappling hook location was actually supposed to be the original. Would have been the location of the first part that we read in the previous video. And yeah, this is what the next part says. It is said that the hero of time met the fairy in the midst of his travels. The fairy appeared before the hero, who had found himself lost in darkness. With a mystical power, it would float in midair, dancing above his head like a burst balloon. I gotta tell you, reading the notes I wrote for the story of the fairy, for the Legend of the Fairy, while playing this video game, that's not an easy thing. Because I'm like glancing down at my notes and then looking at my TV in my peripheral vision. It is not an easy thing to do. Maybe I should like read and post commentary, but you know what? I already have it written down on a notepad right now, so I'm just gonna continue on. I'm gonna be a manly person and read. Alright, so let's continue on over here. Like at some point over here, the stone thing that Tetra gave us at the beginning of the game, the King of Red Lion would use that to tell us that we can leave the statues behind and they wouldn't have a problem with anything like that. But I didn't make it trigger or anything like that because I'm lazy and I don't feel like having it activate. You stole my Klondike bar! Alright, this is an Armos. I think that's what his name is. If I'm wrong, I'll put a caption on screen here. This is one of my favorite incarnations of this enemy in the Zelda series because there's like a lot of ways that you can fight this thing, and if you know what you're doing, you can actually have him drop his sword just like that. So let's pick it up and finish him off with it. Finishing him off with his own weapon is not an easy thing to do, but I'm gonna try anyway because I'm awesome. Alright, basically you just keep throwing your blade at him. Nah, don't go away. Now what I really like about this enemy is that he's very adaptable, because even if he loses his sword, he'll move on to a more hand-to-hand combat. So that's what I like about him, how he's more adaptable than most of the enemies we've seen in this game. Okay, let's pick up the sword. Let's smack this thing and collect the treasure. Yar! And let me just say for the record, this place reminds me of the Colossus battle in The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. And anything in a video game that reminds me of that is a good thing in my book, because that Colossus battle was awesome. And inside here is the hero's bow, the dungeon of the item. Did I read or say that backwards? No, the item of the dungeon. Blah, I cannot talk. Why can't I carry that sword with me throughout the dungeon? Sadness, depression. Now, the bow in this game is one of my favorite incarnations of the bow. Specifically on the Wii U version, because I really like aiming with the gamepad. More specifically when the game is, when I'm playing on the off-TV mode. Because it feels very, what's the word? It feels very immersive is what I'm trying to say. It feels very immersive to be physically aiming with the gamepad while the game is in off-TV mode. Like I love the arrow controls of Skyward Sword, especially when I discovered that you can use the, you can pull back on the nunchuck to instantly charge it. But I'd say that the arrow controls for the off-TV mode in this game would be tied with how I feel about them in Skyward Sword, and they seem like they're going to play a very big role in Breath of the Wild. Which, by the way, I'm looking super forward to because Breath of the Wild looks amazing. It looks like it's gonna be like, when they said that they want Breath of the Wild to be to have the same impact that Ocarina of Time had, I really think they're going to pull it off with this new game because. Because as much as I love the formula of traditional 3D Zelda games like Majora's Mask or Skyward Sword or Wind Waker, I think that Breath of the Wild is definitely the right direction of where the series should be going next. Alright, so the next thing we're going to be doing is that we're going to be going inside this area, and this area is one of my least favorite rooms in the game. In the dungeon, I was just saying the game because that's kind of an overstatement. Over here we have some Keese enemies that can be annoying to fight. Let's get one of them to come over here and shoot its face, and go and shoot the other guy's face. I'm getting sudden 2-year anniversary flashbacks. Yeah, I swear, everything in this game is reminding me of 2-year anniversary lately. Alright, so the next thing we'll be doing is that we'll be going inside of this room. And somewhere around here is, somewhere around here is where the next part of the Legend of the Fairy would be told at, or something like that. When we get to a point where I don't have to concentrate too much and look at my screen that often, then I'm going to read the next part. So let's go over here, attack the jar because it was mocking me. My way before they come back, I guess I can talk about the next part. After the fairy handed the lost hero a map, it flew off as quickly as it had appeared. Better able to foresee places of danger than the hero, the fairy marked them on a map. The legend goes on to say that the quest of the hero of time was saved by this plump figure. I think on one of these moving platforms is where we would have discovered the second part of the Legend of the Fairy. I'm not going to keep repeating myself, but like I said, I'm reading these out of order than they would have appeared on the Tingle Tuner. So if you're playing on the GameCube version and you're wondering, oh my god, why are these not in order? What is wrong with you, Lady Gardio? That's the reason why I'm just reading them out of order, because it's more convenient for me. And fun fact, while I was planning for this Let's Play, I thought that the Tingle statue that appears in this room, that appears in this dungeon, appeared in this room somewhere, and I couldn't find it anywhere when I was practicing for this game. Because when I plan out notes for my Let's Plays, what I do is that I look online and I look for the information that I'm looking for the game, and then I go into the game itself to double check the information. And when I was doing that for when I was planning out this Let's Play, I could not find the Tingle statue anywhere in this room. And then I felt like such a huge idiot because I realized it's not even supposed to be in this room. It was in the room that we saw in the previous video. That circly orb thing had so much to live for. Did it? No, it didn't land on a platform. I'm sad that it's sort of landed on a platform. Okay. What's the point of this thing again? This is something I always forget. Is there a point to this thing? I remember now. There's an eyeball over there in the Law of Zelda. If there's an eyeball, it must die. Yay! We did it! We made the treasure chest appear. Woo! We made the treasure chest. I'm gonna stop singing. That wasn't even a song. That was just me being stupid. Excuse me. I told you to open up the treasure chest, not run your head into it. And all of that work for a joy pendant. Joy! Let's take out the deco leaf and fly. Oh, what? Oh, we were out of magic. Rude. Oh, it took us to the beginning of the room. Yay! Thank you, magic, for running out and stuff. Love you too. Except I don't, because I don't like the limits of magic in this game. Well, it's not that big of a deal because, because it's very easy to refill your magic in this game. You just look for jars, and if you can find those deco flowers, then that's another way you can refill your magic, but whatever. I'm just saying things at this point, because that's what I do. I commentate over Let's Plays. Alright, here we blow the thing up. And let's take out these jars. Alright then. There is another treasure chest later in the earlier in the dungeon that I did point out earlier in the previous video that that had like an eyeball on it, and and you can see on the gamepad that there's a chest inside of that. After we bring this next statue to the center room, I'm going to go back and collect whatever treasure chests that we may have missed, because we did miss a few of them, but I'm just going to do what I've done in the previous videos, where I go back after we're done collecting treasure chests and stuff like that. Now this enemy is one of my favorite enemies in this game, because just look at it. It looks so funny the way it's like bouncing around and stuff like that. Same with the regular statues that we're controlling in this game. That was poor timing on my part. We have to throw a bomb into their mouth, and then when it eats it, like spins around like a little ballerina. It's just so funny. Okay, let's destroy these things. While we go through here, I'm gonna keep talking about the like the treasure chests and stuff like that. Well, treasure charts, I should explain that as well. Because I think this treasure chest has one of those. Let me check real quick. Because we have to open up this treasure chest anyway, even if it's not a treasure chart. Yeah, it's a treasure chart. Yay! Something I want to say about the treasure charts, I'm going to be collecting the dungeons. Excuse me. There. What I was trying to say before I got interrupted by the thingy-majigger was that whenever we get a treasure chart inside of a dungeon, I would not have the reward play at the end of the video. Because I decided that while I was playing this Let's Play is that because any treasure charts we find inside of a dungeon, I'm going to have a special video dedicated to collecting, to specifically getting those rewards. Even if the video only ends up being like 5 minutes long, I'm going to have a specific video telling you that these rewards were found in the treasure charts that we found from a dungeon. So yeah, that's just what we'll be doing in this video. And when my voice stopped cracking, jeez, that's like the 5th time that my voice cracked in this video. I still have a counter on screen for every time my voice cracks. We can fly over here. I believe in the GameCube version, Tingle will try to convince you to like buy one of his seals or something like that, so you can go through here. I might be wrong about that because I have mixed sources. It's a little hard to find concrete info about the Tingle tuner, but I am working with the best of my ability. Alright, so let's control this thing. And I believe in around somewhere in this room, if you landed on this laser right here with the deco leaf, you would have found another part of the story of the fairy, legend of the fairy, whatever. So the next part, you would have if you land on here, you would have found the 3rd page for the Legend of the Fairy, but we already read that one, so I'm gonna read the 4th part right now. Fairies lived for thousands of years, but this odd fairy was a bit different. This mystical fairy was born near a lake, and when he met the hero, he was but 35. But beyond that, there's little known about this fairy. And of course, we ran out of magic again. It's a good thing we don't need magic for the boss fight in this dungeon, because if that was the case, Excuse me! He threw fire on top of the ladder. Rude. Just rude. Okay, let's destroy this guy. if you roll around, something worth mentioning is that if you roll around when you catch on fire, it's worth mentioning that if you can roll around when you catch on fire to like put yourself out. I think this was in one of the N64 Zelda games. I might be wrong about this. I don't want to say this was an Ocarina of Time because I haven't admittedly haven't played that much of Ocarina of Time. It's not that I don't like that game. It's just that I play the other Zelda games more. I want to say it was a feature of Majora's Mask, but I don't want to say for 100% certain about that. Oh, by the way, you want to make sure you have all 4 of these on the platform before you try moving this thing, because if you don't, then you're going to not be able to go through here because the statue is like super heavy and you need to like bounce it out or whatever. So let's continue on through here, and the statue will come to life. Run away, statue. Be free. Save yourself. And while this goes on, I guess I could read the last part of the Legend of the Fairy, because I think we're already in a room where it appeared. The room with the rainbow staircase is where you would have found the last one. And now I'm going to be reading the last one, so this is going to be like the only one that we're really reading in order. The little-known Legend of the Fairy's 35th birthday. On one island, they celebrate one's 35th birthday with a green coat and red pants. They do this in hope of becoming like the legendary fairy Tingle. Why anybody would want to be like Tingle, I would never know. So yeah, that's that's the entirety of the Legend of the Fairy from the Tower of the Gods. So it's a very nice little detail. I'm sad that they didn't keep it in this game. Even if I don't like Tingle, I kind of wish that they would have kept some remnant of it in the Wii U version of the game. Just like what they did with the Tingle statues, how they're still in the game, even though you have no way of finding them on your own because they don't even appear. The chests don't even appear on the gamepad map when you're playing through this game. Because when you look at the gamepad map in a room that they would have appeared in, they're not there. So there's no way that you would have been able. So there's no way you can find in game that. Excuse me, can I destroy these things, please? Okay, thank you. There's no way you can see in the game that these Tingle statues are even here. But they're still here, man. It's kind of cool. Kind of. Not really. I'll just throw the statue off the cliff because I'm a jerk. And yeah, that statue went away. Come back, be my friend. We'll make cupcakes together. Oh, it went upwards. I forgot about that. Okay, come on. Let's fly. Hey, we did it! Yeah! While we go through here, something else I'd like to talk about is the statues. This is the second time in the Zelda series where you'll be able to control as somebody who's not Link. At least I think this is the second time in the series, because the first time this appeared was in The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, because without going too far into spoilers for that game, there was this one part where you controlled a character named Cafe. For this one side quest, which is the side quest is very well known, but I don't want to spoil the events of it because that's like one of those things where it's like, you go away from me, you go away from me. I want to be on top of the dress, I want on top of the dress. Please, 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 please. Yes, yeah, we're on top of the treasure chest. Yeah, we're manly people. What was I saying a second ago? Alright, I completely forgot. Oh yeah, there's this one part in Majora's Mask 3D where you control a character named Cafe. A voice crack. Stop it. I think I might be thirsty because I usually get like voice cracks if I haven't been drinking a whole lot of water throughout the day. But whatever. Okay, and now I'm gonna meet you guys back to where that one death thing was. Why do I keep falling off cliffs in this dungeon? No. I'm gonna meet you guys where the last treasure chest is dungeon. I think it's the last dungeon. Last treasure chest. I cannot speak right now. I'll see you guys in a second. Alright, back inside this room. What we're going to do is that, after we defeat this guy again, we want to do is we want to shoot the eyeball on the ceiling wall thing. Doing this will open up the doors to your doom, And unless I'm mistaken, I believe this leads to the second treasure chart in this dungeon. Like I said earlier in the video, the treasure charts that we find in dungeons, I'm going to, like after we get back to the ocean and stuff like that, we're going to go and collect the rewards from the treasure charts. Because I know I've said plenty of times before that what I'm going to do with the treasure charts in this game is that when they do appear, I'm going to play a clip at the end of the video showing you where those charts are located on the overworld, but I haven't actually done that yet. But trust me, I am going to be doing that for later in the video, for later in the Let's Play, especially when we get around to when we go out of our way to hunt down the treasure charts, because the treasure charts we found so far in this Let's Play, I haven't really been going on my way to find them. They've just kind of been appearing to us over the course of the game, except for, well, I guess except for the ones that we found during the auction house, but we already took care of those ones. And with that, we now have all but one treasure chest in the dungeon, so I think this is a good place to end the video off here. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video of The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker HD, and until next time, gear to you. Oh yeah! I like how Link's eyeballs were kind of like moving around as I was saying that thing. Anyway, see you next time. Bye!